To me, strategic account management and global account management is a force for organic growth. We have surveyed 150 companies in the last 4 to 5 years. Hundreds of people responded to our survey. And to be very precise, in 2009, strategic accounts were growing at 12% versus 6% for the other accounts. In 2011, that same analysis showed 12% growth for strategic accounts versus 8% growth for the other accounts. As a matter of fact, in many top companies in that area, strategic account experienced twice or more the growth of the average of the company. It's like everywhere in business. It's about discipline in execution. In that same survey, 60% of the respondents said that they didn't execute properly on the strategic account plan. We have surveyed an incredible number of companies. We have our Trends and Practice survey. We survey 700 people routinely, 140 companies every other year. And it's very clear today that one of the most critical competency within the competency model that SAMA has established from these hundreds and hundreds of inputs, one of the most critical competencies is business and financial acumen. If you don't prove the dollar value of your solution, if you don't prove to your customer how much money in dollar and euros you bring compared to what your competitors bring, if you're not able to monetize the value of your solution, the customer is going to go somewhere else. You have got to demonstrate the financial value of your solution. Two very clear ones which stand out. The first one is even smaller and smaller decision, procurement decision or appropriation request decision, go to higher levels and to the executive level. That's one trend. And the second trend is companies go way beyond products and benefits. They want to see the real business value of your solution or of your product or of your service. They create much more value with their customers. They increase their share of wallet, hence increasing their organic growth. And last but not least, they increase customer retention. When you sell value, you go way beyond products and benefits. You go into a business discussion. And when you have a business discussion, you have to reach the business level, which is very often the C-level executives. Not that procurement and purchasing have to be bypassed. They are part of the equation. You have to work with purchasing, you have to work with procurement, but you also have to tell your story and to have the business conversation with the C-level and the higher level of the organization. The constant view is, SAMA, can you help us go higher? SAMA, can you help us reach the C-suite? How do we engage the customer at the right level? How do we have a business conversation rather than a price conversation with procurement? How do we do this? Because we have to demonstrate our value. Again, features and benefits, that is available to anybody on the net or through transactional means. What makes the difference is how do you monetize the value, and you do that by accessing the right level, very often the C-suite, and demonstrating the ROI than just the products, features, and benefits. Well, success will be how to access the C-suite and what conversation you have with the C-suite, and are you able to demonstrate business and financial acumen, which will clearly lead the customer and the high level of the customer to decide that the ROI of your solution, of your service, is higher than all of your competitors? Great question. The poor account selection explains, has a big weight in the success or failure of our programs. I think you have to consider two axes, so to speak. There is the financial, there is the quantitative axis. Does this account has great potential? Does it have a minimum size? Is it going to return money for both companies? Is it an industry leader? All these things are very important quantitative elements of how strategically important is the customer for you as a strategic supplier. But the other axis is the relationship axis. Is this customer open to a real strategic partnership? Or is it just a transactional price-only customer? In the latter case, that company shouldn't be a strategic account. And I always say to my most important corporate members, be more focused, narrower in the number of accounts you select rather than wide and shallow. Don't do that mistakes. Start with just a few of the most strategic accounts, the tier 1, but go very deep in the relationship and make sure you have the returns for both companies. How does it make money? What are the key decision makers? Those are areas where you have to know in depth your customer. And people say, oh, I know my customer. Well, do you really know the customer business model? Do you really know the real decision makers? By the way, very often, the ultimate role of the strategic account manager is to know the customer company better than even the company themselves. Always be focusing on your customer metrics. That's how you create value. When you look at why SAM or GAM programs success or fail, you have three factors which explain more than 2/3 of the failures or the successes. The first one, as we said a few minutes ago, is the C-level support. The second one is, do you have the right accounts? And the third one, which is probably the most important of the three, is, do you have the right talent and you develop the right talent? The growth, the profitability, customer loyalty, the ability to innovate and scale solutions, especially globally. And one which is coming up as very important is managing risk, not only for your company, but for the customer. Don't think that SAM and GAM are a sales initiative. They are a corporate initiative. SAMs, very often, they are like salespeople, and they are intimidated by accessing the C-level. So having an instructor who has been there, who is an executive, who knows what it takes, who knows what role to play, is the best way to train and coach those account managers and eliminate that timidity or that reserve or that, refraining from accessing the right level to sell value. We are too sales-oriented rather than business solution-oriented. Business outcomes go way beyond the quarterly quotas. We are not, with our most important customers, in a quota business. We are in a value business. In the end, a customer is an asset, and it has a long-term value. First of all, a well-run SAM and GAM program will give you growth, profitability, customer loyalty, innovative and scalable solutions. Those are critical business outcomes. If you want to achieve that, there are three master cards to play. You have to be close to the C-level. C-level support has to be effective. As a matter of fact, a formalized executive sponsorship program is essential to make your program effective and successful. Secondly, make sure you have the right accounts. Large accounts are not strategic accounts. The relationship aspect and the potential aspect of your most important customers have to be screened very carefully through criteria which are professional and shared by the whole organization. And the third thing, and probably most important of all, is talent, talent, talent.